In the year 1800, there was an estimated 1 billion people in the world. Only 140 years after, there were 2.3 billion people in 1940. 40 years from then, there were 4.5 billion in 1980. Today, there is a whopping 7.9 billion humans walking on the face of the earth. Human overpopulation means a lot for the planet. What can we expect of the future of the earth? What can we do to minimize its effects? Will essential resources be stripped to none? Will world hunger be a prominent issue? Will poverty consume the world and create anarchy and chaos around the globe? Well, let's see how it came to this, how overpopulation came to be and why it became a problem. It is the 18th century. Europe finds itself in conditions of poverty that nowadays would be considered a developing area, with little to no cleanliness, dirty food and water, and extremely shaky medicine. This meant that women would have lots of children, as they expected that most of them would usually die young and only a few would survive. However, the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th century created healthier living conditions for lower class people, and consequently population growth rose massively, due to the fact that people were still having a lot of children, as they hadn't known so many would survive, in a nationwide fertility state called explosive growth. The United Kingdom's population grew 150%, from 6 million to 15 million. People started to realize then that since fewer children were dying, fewer babies were conceived, and shortly after, population growth slowed down. However, due to the larger population having kids themselves, population growth keeps emerging, and the average fertility rate for a couple was 5 about 50 years ago. Thankfully, it has decreased to about 2.5 in the recent past. The UN estimates that by 2100, around 11 billion people will be living on Earth. The transition 18th century Europe went through is happening or has happened for every single country in the world, where women have become accepted as people and introduced to society. Overpopulation has been aggravating the world's environmental issues and speeding up nature's deterioration rates remarkably. Overpopulation has played a large role in pressing issues such as global warming, habitat loss, pollution, amongst others. Increased global warming becomes a bigger problem as time goes by, due to the human-generated greenhouse gases that only become more abundant following the growth of human population. Rapid human population growth could overburden the efforts of humanity to continue countering the deterioration of global warming. According to Leslie Taylor, one of the world's leading experts in rainforest medicinal plants and a leader in creating a worldwide market, rainforests once covered 14% of the world's surface. Now, they only cover 6%. Human population has been a driving force in the incremental loss of the globe's ecosystem. Permanent ice cover is decreasing at a rate of 11.5% per year, and the acidification in the ocean has destroyed nearly 30% of the ocean's coral reefs, according to NASA. Humanity's footprints on the ecological balance of the Earth becomes larger by the minute. Environmental pollution is directly linked to human overpopulation, whether it be air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, light pollution, or air pollution. Humans are responsible for them. With an increase in people who potentially will pollute the planet, it is inevitable that the rates of pollution will be increased. Environmental pollution is causing irreparable damages to the Earth. The introduction of harmful products or substances impact on the environment and its being. When humans dabble with introducing foreign sources to the ecology, the Earth is being chipped away and detrimental effects harm the planet and all life forms on it, including humans. When being looked at in this sort of light, human overpopulation seems like it is entirely detrimental to the planet. Humanity seems like a plague on the globe. They have only damaged it thus far. Which is why we're forced to ask, how can we lower the burden we bear on our beloved planet? There are multiple solutions that together will aid in the resolution of this problem. Steps you can take to do your part and pave the way for the estimated 3.5 billion people who are to come in the next 80 years. These solutions ultimately target a larger problem and aim to solve overpopulation from its roots. The empowerment of women is perhaps the most important factor in the solution for human overpopulation. Before women took roles in the industrial world, fertility rates were substantially higher than they are in the present day. As more and more women get enough education and learn about sexual education, the fertility rate is bound to decrease. Empowering women also creates a space of liberty for them to choose to be independent, as many men have. This liberty will allow for many women to take conscious decisions, such as being more individual than they were decades ago, or to vouch for adoption, allowing them to do as they feel like. Global, extreme poverty has never been as low as today, and as poverty decreases, population growth slows down. According to a study conducted by the United Nations and the University of Washington, population growth won't slow down by the 21st century and will continue to grow to an astonishing estimated 11 billion people by the year 2100. Nonetheless, this study also predicts that the number of people with higher education will increase by 900% or tenfold. Education leads to the decrease of children per woman, as seen on these graphs from ourworldandData.org. The world fertility has decreased from around 5 in 1950 to about 2.5 children per woman in 2020. The countries in darkest red have the highest fertility rate per woman, and in 1950 we can see the density of such countries. However, the present shows an overwhelming amount of lower fertility rates, and coincidentally these coincide with the number of women who are 15 years or older with no education. We see how an improvement of education towards women has lower fertility rates remarkably. As extreme poverty decreases, education will be increased, and if paired with the empowerment of women, the fertility rate will most likely reach stable levels. Some other solutions you could personally take that seem more manageable are having fewer children, considering adoption, reducing personal pollution such as flying less, sharing your household with others, going vegan, and many more. Promoting sexual education, aiding family planned programs, joining environmental or social groups. There are thousands of ways that one can consciously aid in the fight against human overpopulation. The issue of overpopulation is one that certainly threatens the planet we live on. By becoming conscious of our burden on the planet, we can all target the issue and try to fight it however we can. Ultimately, the silver lining of the issue is that as population increases, as more women are empowered, as global poverty decreases, as education rises, there will be remarkably more revolutionary thinkers, more geniuses who concentrate on the imminent fight against environmental deterioration, more social heroes, activists throughout all fields. The problem of overpopulation is a staggering one. There is no denying that. However, humanity has always found a way to get out of troubles we've been in. Life always finds a way, and when we're stuck in the mud, all it takes is some rain to wash it away.